What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 23rd day of February, and here we are with roughly 9.5 hours left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about the price action here. So, looking at this, it does seem as though, for now, we still have a higher low, which is not bad. It's a pretty good thing. It is possible that we do take out this low. It is possible that we go lower, but higher lows are welcome. We'll take it if that's what ends up being the case here. The goal, again, right now is not necessarily to get a higher low or not. I mean, overall, sure, you want a higher low overall, yes, but relative to this low, we can go lower. Relative to this low, we can even go lower. The goal is not necessarily to hold up either of these lows. The goal right now is really to just get above this high, because once we get above this high, that's when the idea of retracing here and potentially going out to take out this high and moving on to 2 cents, that's when that idea really comes back to life. Now, I want to be clear in what I just said there. What I didn't just say was if we get above this high, that means we're going to 2 cents. That's not what I just said. I just said that for right now, where we are, it's not that it's not plausible. It's not really appropriate from a time perspective or from a order of operations perspective to talk about 2 cents or above, because where we are here, we could go lower than this low. We could keep moving down. We could go lower than this low. We could even go below these lows here. Once we get above this high, though, the thought then becomes, okay, well, are we retracing this move? Is this a higher low overall? Are we going to go form a higher high overall? And if so, where's that going to be? It's going to be at 2 cents. That thought starts to become the more day-to-day appropriate game plan to kind of be in the discussion. Until then, it's just a thought that we want to work towards. We're not even thinking about it, right? We're just thinking about it at this point. So again, as far as the low goes, I'm great with finding a higher low. I love that. That's great. But it doesn't really matter. What matters, again, is getting above this point. That's what matters. So, cool. We could bounce from here. That's exciting. It's not as cool as this would be, right? I don't care if we had a huge bounce here, then we consolidate, and then we saw a little move up like this. I'd be more excited about that little move there than I would be about this big move. I'd be excited about both of them, but I'd be more excited about that little move there just because it gets us a higher high. Anyways, just so you know where my expectations, where my mind's at, what I'm focused on, what I want to see, let's get into the charts now, get away from me and my vanity, and talk about what we're just objectively seeing here on the charts. First and foremost, we had a gap over here, which we just filled. Now, this is kind of cool. This is kind of interesting. This is something to notice. And this does happen, by the way, especially with bigger gaps. If you notice in the stock market world, in crypto, in anything, if there are large gaps especially, it depends on the kind of gap. If it's a breakaway gap, that's caused by like a buyout, like a corporate buyout or something, the rules don't apply. But if it's just like a standard volatility gap or something like this, you get a bigger gap. It's a little bit bigger, like these gaps here. You typically have a zone where you'll see gaps again. Like notice here how you filled that. Whoops, you filled this gap here, but you left another gap basically in that same proximity right there. Now that gap just got filled as well, but look, you got a gap there, gap there, gap there. These gaps, for whatever reason, they seem to happen at the same place, and that's because I think, I don't know, there's various reasons for that. You know, maybe the algorithms, maybe traders are assuming there's high velocity here, so they, you know, high velocity down, high velocity up. That's why we're leaving gaps in these areas. I don't know why, but that typically does happen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just go back here and see. Let's find a big gap or something. Right here, here's some gaps, right? Do we find other gaps in this area? Not really. That wasn't really a good example. I guess you had another gap right there, both in these same areas here. You had some gaps back here. I don't know. And it's on the 1 hour time frame. This kind of thought logic more applies, I feel like, to stocks and like the daily time frame, but still, just this thought of gaps showing up in the same price area, even if they're in different times. It's kind of interesting. This really does look like a nice double bottom setup, doesn't it? I think it does. It might not look like it right now, but man, like if that persists, right? I don't care if we round this bottom out. I don't care if we see a slightly lower low, whatever. It kind of looks nice right now. It's a good setup. It looks the nicest when we get above here. So while I was saying that we don't really have anything to get excited about until we get above this high, was it that high? I think it was that high, yeah. I'd like to take that back and say it actually might be a little bit exciting to get above this high, and I'll tell you why. Because if we're looking at this, imagining that this is like the monthly time frame, the daily time frame, whatever, but it's the 1 hour. If we're just looking at this, regardless of the time frame, this kind of double bottom look becomes a successful, a valid double bottom once you get above this point here. Once we get above this point, the idea then becomes that we will likely take out this high. This is the high point that I told you at the beginning of the video. I wouldn't get excited about price action until we get above that high point. But now with this pattern that we have identified here, there's actually a reason to get excited down here, because if we can break above this high, statistically speaking, what that means is that we are likely going to contest this high. We're either going to go up and see if we get a lower high or break through and get a higher high. And that higher high, getting above this price, that's the really exciting thing. So that's still the point of focus, getting above 006 effectively. But I will say, getting above 00521 is also something that I will get a little bit excited about. We won't be screaming from the top of our lungs, but again, as long as we hold these lows kind of like this, we can go a little bit lower. It's fine. Even if we go a little bit lower than this low, it's fine. But if we kind of hold our ground like this, and we get back above this line, that would be a very suggestive thing that we could take that high out. So I will be getting excited. I lied to you in the beginning. I will be. It wasn't a lie. It wasn't an intentional lie. I didn't know I was lying. I will be getting excited once we get above 00521, but only with this double bottom look. If we drop from here like this, and then we're doing stuff like this, sure, it'll be nice to get above here, but the significance, it goes out the window. Now we don't have this double bottom. Now getting above here doesn't necessarily mean that we're thinking about getting above here. You know what I mean? So it's different. If this double bottom doesn't work out, then this line, to me, loses significance. It'll still have significance because prior resistance, prior support, but it loses some significance. Okay. But yes, 00521, as long as these lows more or less hold, again, we can go slightly lower, that's fine. That looks good. Looks like a double bottom. 1 hour time frame, the RSI here, bearish. Looks pretty bearish. You got higher highs in the RSI, lower highs of the price. It's hidden bearish divergence. I'm not a fan of that. Seems as though here when we were moving up, we're just finding resistance at prior support. Stochastics look like they're reset to go down. MACD's bearish. So going lower is definitely something we should anticipate from here. But again, it's the 1 hour time frame. Does going lower mean that we go below this low? Not necessarily. It could just mean that we're just kind of doing this, right? Maybe we're doing something like this, and that allows our indicators to cool off a little bit and then reset and be able to run to the upside. We don't want to see any sudden shifts down, or if they are sudden shifts down like this, we want a sudden shift back up. We want some volatility. Anyways, consolidate, I guess is what I'm asking for. 4 hour time frame. Looking at this, the RSI here, you guys, remember? It's so weird. It's so weird how this happened. But again, I was saying up here, right? For days, we were talking about how there could be this situation where I think it would look really good. I think I said those exact words, where we don't get a lower low, which we didn't, but we do get a lower close, which we did. So we closed lower. We closed lower. We didn't get the lower low, but we closed lower. This is probably as bullish of a situation as it could be, because that lower close gave us a higher low in the RSI with lower lows in the price. That's bullish divergence on the 4 hour time frame. It's exactly what we were prophesizing, I don't know, what we forecasted back on the 20th of February here, just talking about this possibility here. That's great. That's great. That adds to this idea of a double bottom. It doesn't validate it. Technically, this divergence happened between these 2 points. That happened between these 2 points. We've already made the move up. Technically, if you're looking at this as bullish divergence like I am, then you should know that this move might be all there is. That's what your multi-day bullish divergence formed. That's the only bit of the move that you get. It doesn't have to go higher than that. But it is a bullish setup. This is a point, typically whenever you see this kind of stuff happen in the RSI, this is a point where you expect things to kind of reverse and start a journey that can take you to the overbought zone. You might be in a new uptrend or something like that, and it could all be starting here. And the starting point itself is a double bottom. That's not bad, guys. The stochastics are coming out of the oversold zone. That's not bad, you guys. It's not bad at all. I'm not hating this at all. A little bit of bullish divergence on the MACD too. I mean, it's good. It's clean. It looks good. You just have to keep behaving well. Don't take your good things and give them up. How do you take your good things and relinquish them, make them not good things? It's very simple. Really, you just got to close probably like below these lows. Get lower lows in your RSI, get lower lows, or I guess get back oversold in your stochastics. Build bearish momentum with your MACD. You see here how you're building instead of decaying, right? Right now we're decaying. If you start building, then all those things, if we go a little bit lower, it gets rid of the good setup. Now, getting rid of our good setup does not condemn OnyxCoin to death, but it does mean we have to reorganize our thoughts and go from a different perspective, a different plan of attack. Right now, I'm leaning heavily on this double bottom idea because it seems like it's in our face. But man, how many times, you guys, how many times have we seen these double bottoms, triple bottoms, whatever, that didn't work out, right? We got a slightly lower low. This could be a double bottom here, and it pumped, but it was a lower high. Didn't really work out, right? How many double bottoms did we get excited for? They pumped. We got the higher high, and we still dumped down. So the only reason I'm saying this is because OnyxCoin has done this to us before, and it's given us what we wanted to see before, and it's still been disappointing. So again, I will be getting excited here, but the most excitement will come from getting above these highs. And right now, the plan of attack, the thought that I'm having is double bottom recovery. This recovery should take us above here. We'll probably consolidate, find support at prior resistance, right? And then from there, we start moving higher, hopefully. We'll see. And it might not be right now. Like how I have it drawn, we'd be pumping going into the end of the month. It could happen. I don't know. We'll see. That's my cat, if you guys heard that. If you didn't heard that, I don't know. I can't recreate the sound he made. Daily RSI, very bearish, very sad. It could be worse. It definitely could be worse, but you're definitely in bearish areas of control. Stochastics don't look good. Right, getting into the oversold zones, no bueno at all. The daily MACD, again, just disappointing. But what would be really good to see here is if we could avoid crossing down. If we do cross down, can it be a false cross where we barely cross at all, right? Like a false cross up here. What I want to see is a reading that gets deep green, like this again, this part here, deep green, but we get a higher reading. We start to build. Instead of decaying, we start to build. That's what I want to see. So avoid the cross, or if you do get a cross, make it a false cross, which is, really defined as like a very short kind of time frame cross. Like this was a false red cross here. Absolutely it was, right? Anything like that. And just really, we want this momentum to build. From the way this looks, this might not take place today or tomorrow. It could. It really could take place today or tomorrow, but maybe it takes place in a week. Maybe it takes place in a couple of weeks. It doesn't have to be right now. The sense of urgency isn't there. And again, even with this double bottom being a potential thing here, the pattern is called Adam and Eve. Okay, the Eve is the U, the Adam is the V. Do you see it, right? You got the V there, you've got the U here. Together, it's an Adam and Eve double bottom. Eve, Adam is quick. It's a V-shaped recovery. Eve can take a little bit more time. With these U-shaped recoveries, again, we could even go lower. So this can take more time. We do not need to see this move happen right now. But the end of the month is over here. I would assume our Eve is not going to be, she's not going to be that thick, right? I mean, maybe Eve's a thick girl. She eats her Twinkies. I don't know. Probably not going to be that thick. Probably not going to be that thick. So what I'm getting at is we're either going to see excitement by the end of February or disappointment, and we'll have to restructure our thoughts one way or the other. I am leaning with the excitement part. I am leaning toward the double bottom part because it looks so good right now. The indicators look like they're at the right place for a bounce, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. Daily time frame, went over that. I don't really think there's anything else to go over, so I'll probably just end the video there. Yeah, I think that's fine. If you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Again, we will first get excited when we see prices above 00521, but the most exciting thing will be when we get above 006. This is not depressing, this is not sad, but if we get below this low here at 00453, there is a possibility that we can go below these lows here. And we'll talk about that possibility and what those targets are if we go below these lows. Okay. But for now, I want to stay focused on what I think the task at hand is. Okay, hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. We're just in this consolidation phase, waiting to see which direction we're going to next. Take care. Ta ta. Bye bye. See you later.